So I've got Ampi Creer here of Wild Clover Brewery, and he brought some great beers for us to pair with our seafood dish today. Ampi, thanks for making the time. How are you doing?
I'm well, and you, Ruben?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Good to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for coming. And I'm a great craft beer fan, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the beer goes with this dish. Tell me about the product.
Yeah, Ruben, we've got 4 specific beers, very different. The whole idea of these beers is to cater for the broader range of beers that's available. Everybody knows a lager, and a lager is we've got a Pilsner here, which is a subcategory of a lager. A lager is the easy drinking beer that we all know in South Africa so well. And then on the other side, a ale, which is a darker beer, the beers that's very popular in England. And then on the sides of that, we've got a Weiss. Germans are very great on their Weiss beers. And the Belgians call it a Wit. There's a small difference between the two styles. But both of them are made of more than 50% wheat. And then on the other side of the whole beer spectrum, we've got a porter, which is a dark beer. Like the dark beers, the stouts and porters of Ireland. So that's 4 different beers. If you taste them, you'll find that it's 4 different tastes. You will, if we go through a complete tasting, it will be possible for you just by smelling the beer to tell which one is which is difficult sometimes with some of the other beers.
But I think you can pour us some. Let's, I'd love to taste it. And let's talk a little bit about how you got into making beer. I mean, you're making beer in the middle of the winelands. How did that all happen? Yeah,
it's beer is a bit more uplifting and fun than wine. Wine is more serious and it's good, but with tongue in the cheek sort of wine, and in the middle of the winelands do beer. Why not? Is that it's the right thing to do?
Yeah.
So we decided to do the brewery in the middle of the winelands. It's on the R304 outside of Stellenbosch, about 7 kilometers to Klip Hill, on the Wild Clover farm. And the whole thing is that as a student, I was a huge beer drinker, and I actually brewed beer many years ago as a student. But eventually, it's just impossible to drink those beers anymore. And every time when I'm exposed to other nice beers, those flavors and the complexity of those beers, it's so fantastic. And then I thought, well, why don't we have it in South Africa? And then a friend actually introduced me to his homebrew. And I tried that homebrew and I said, this is what we need in South Africa. And from there, I started to explore the whole thing of beer making and how you can introduce those different flavors. And that is how it happened, and that is where we are today.
How long ago was that?
It started in 2008. Actually, in 2008, I started to make a little bit of wine as a garagist. And then from there, it all flows over to the beer side. But it was also in 2008 when we started the whole beer thing. So
you talk about previously producing wine. Talk about the difference. Is there a massive difference between
the two? It is very interesting is that, wine is an easy thing to produce. I mean, wine is something that you get grapes, and there's a lot of sugar in the grapes. And if you just squash those grapes and you leave it outside, the wild yeast will come and it will ferment that and it will become wine. It's easy to do. Beer is very difficult. Beer, you need to take those grains, which is full of different starches, and you need to convert those starches into sugar so that you have something sweet that you can ferment. And that's the whole brewing process. So it's much more technical and much more difficult to make beer than it is to make wine.
I'm sure lots of winemakers will like that. But Ampi, tell us more about this beer.
Ruben, as you can see, it's a very cloudy beer. It's a Weiss beer. As I said previously, it's got 50% wheat in its grain bill. And that wheat is causing it to be murky like this. It's supposed to be like that. So you can't really, mark the beer down if you look at the color of the beer. It's supposed to be like that. You get people that say, we don't like beer this color, so, let's rather filter it. And they filter the beer so that it's nice and crystal clear. But I think you take a lot of the goodness and the taste out of the beer if you filter it like that. So I like it, this way. And if you taste it with your curry, if you smell it, you'll get some undertones of banana in it. And that fruitiness of the banana, I think, will go very well with the curry. And even if you do curries and you do sambals with that, which is very fruity and so on, I think this beer can go very well with that.
And what about shelf life then? Is there a difference?
Yeah, that's a very interesting fact about craft beer is the shelf life because it's it's a living thing. The proteins in it, the bacteria in it, yeast is a bacteria as well. And if we filter it, we don't filter all of that out. It's still a living thing. And because it's a living thing, it will evolve over time. And therefore, it's got a shorter shelf life as your commercial beers. But by using the right sanitary procedures and the right way of producing the beer, you can get a good shelf life. And that's a challenge for us to make sure that we, without the processes that's available to the huge breweries like pasteurization and so on, is to make a beer that's got a good shelf life.
What is the other one you brought along?
Then this one that I have here is the blind mole. So the first one was a Weiss, we call it the Eagle Weiss. This one is a blind mole, which is a Pilsner or a lager, a specific style, and then we call it a Pilsner.
And the name, where does that come from? Blind mole.
That's, after many beers and creative thinking in the evenings, you come up with these words. No, it is.
I like your opener as well. I mean,
that's not my idea.
Did you engineer this?
I don't even know who the guy is, but yeah, it's a good idea. Ruben, I'm not going to fill up your glass. I need you to smell it as well. So give some space there for the aromas to come out. And then you'll see with this beer now that if you look at it, this is now clear. It's it's got the same nice golden color like a lager that we know in South Africa. And then on this, if you just smell it, what do you pick up on the nose? Then also, if I take you, do you know how to taste beer?
No, you must tell me.
Everybody knows how to taste wine.
Because I find I can't smell enough.
Yeah.
Just on the head.
Okay, so first, like in wine, look at the color. This color is supposed to be like that, so it's fine. This one obviously is nice and bright and crisp. So the color, and then the second thing is you need to swirl it a little bit and look at the little bubbles at the bottom of the head. See those little bubbles, and that gives you a good indication of the carbonation of the beer. And the beer must be carbonated, not over-carbonated, because then you only taste bubbles in your mouth. So you want the beer to be just right. It must be nice and frizzy, but not over-carbonated. And that gives you indication of the carbonation. Okay. Then the next thing, as in wine, you smell it or you nose it, and you can swirl it and see if you can pick up anything there. People sometimes say, this is a bit sweet. And, it may be, if you smell it, I think there's a slight honey undertone in this beer. And that, I think, let people believe that it's supposed to be sweet. But it's not sweet. It's just that honey undertone. And all the beers are made according to the Reinheitsgebot. So there's no honey in, there's no banana in. It's only malted grain, hops, yeast, and water. That's all that's in it. Can you get that honey?
I get the honey. But I'm almost, but it's something you get on sparkling wine, on champagne almost. That sort of like biscuity type of.
Yeah, I think that's the nuttiness from the malt.
Well, all I know is I enjoy, this whole new craft beer revolution. I love all the varieties of beers, and I mean, picking one of these beers that you brought along for our dish is going to be very difficult. I'm going to have to think about that a little bit longer, so you're going to have to wait for me to make that decision. Ampie.
Can I have a little
taste?
taste?
Have a taste of that.
Heerlijk. Ruben, that is really, I must compliment you on that. That's a real good curry. And I've had a lot in my times, but that's a real good curry.
Got a good full flavor, and I like how the spice and the chili comes through.
And it's not overdone.
No.
It's just there, but you can taste the curry and get the flavors of the fish, the shrimps, everything, the prawns is coming through. Now it's beautiful. I'm glad I don't have to choose between
I can't
the beers
choose
carrying
between
that.
these two. I actually can't. You know, I love Weiss beer, but I think today I'm going to go for the Pilsner, for the blind mull, for sure.
That's a good choice. I thought you would go for that one.
Ampi, this was really insightful. You know, there's just so much more I want to know about beer now. And I hope I can come and visit you at some stage and see your operation and see what you guys do. And thanks for bringing the passion and for sharing and giving us some insight. Thanks for coming. I know you're quite a busy guy, so
Thanks for inviting me.
thank you very
I
much.
really enjoyed it. Thanks.
Yes.